Hey modders, welcome back to ModifedRoll. Don't forget we're sponsored by DM Dice. Check out the link to their website in our description, or head over to dmdice.co.uk and use the code ModifedRoll for 10% off all purchases. In the last episode, the party handed their would-be assassin over to the city guard and got to know the captain of the guard, Zinnon, a little better. They were healed of their wounds, having been tended to by some clerics from the Temple of Selune. We rejoin them now the morning after these exciting events, as they prepare to head back to the guardhouse to catch up with Zinnon, the guard captain. The mystery continues to unfold in this, episode 16 of season 2 of ModifedRoll, Nobles in Demand. You're all back at full health through various means. A couple of you are missing a couple of things, but then you do manage to drift off for the night. And you're safely able to sleep through the remainder of the night. Only a few more hours, but then this did happen a few hours into the night. So you haven't lost a lot of sleep, but obviously with the adrenaline, the fatigue, you wake up the next morning feeling rough, to say the least. That and the hangover probably is kicking in a little bit from the night before.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, I hadn't. You make it through the night unmolested. Well, I'm making no promises. You've got Kazizel the ass man in one room and Twilight in the other. I'm making no promises. You make it through the night unharmed.
Why do you hate us, Jordan? Why are you making us out to be some, sex offenders?
I'm sorry. Have you listened to the most recent episodes? There's a whole segment where we talk about fantasy Viagra.
Oh shit, is there? I don't remember that.
To be honest,
What was the whole bit about?
I blacked out.
If your erection lasts more than 4 hours, head to your local temple, try the little blue spell book. Are you struggling with command? It's the fucking promo I put on Instagram.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm not the one doing this.
I don't think I said that.
Oh, anyway.
All because I wanted to go up the backside. That was all.
Oh.
Not in my twerking trousers, you ain't, mate.
Yeah, they're too tight to come off.
Oh my god.
We can't all have an easy access flap like you, Twilight.
Hey.
I'm dead. Okay. You make it through the night unharmed. No assassins break into your rooms.
Well, one
What's sexual about that?
assassin.
Assassin. It's your own time you're wasting.
Yes, teacher.
The dawn breaks and the light... I'm just going to cut all of your audio out for this bit so I can get through it. The dawn breaks and the sunlight streams across the city. In the shallow ravine of the cleft between the cliffs, it takes some time before it reaches the streets, but it lightens nonetheless, and it eventually breaks the cracks in the window. You don't awaken as early as you have been on your travels. I'm trying to be serious. All I can see is you two giggling into your hands.
Fuck me, Jesus Christ.
Is it because I said cracks in the windows? Is that what it was?
I was biting my hand when you said cracks.
I've had to mute my microphone.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I think we broke the DM.
Oh.
Oh. Right.
Are you sure, man?
Mm-hmm.
You awaken feeling, not to mince words, rough. You haven't slept well. Two of you were on a chase throughout the city. One of you was stabbed, and one of you, I'm going to assume just through sheer... Sorry, I'll correct that because I've had somebody looking me at the camera. 2 of you were stabbed, and one of you, maybe not as exerted as the others, probably still had quite an adrenaline rush, being acknowledged by one of their religious order. But nevertheless, you awake the next morning to the light of dawn. You head downstairs later in the morning than normal to have something to eat. I'm assuming you would all wait, check on each other, make sure you're all up together, and head downstairs as a group. When you get there, the bar is quiet. There are a few other patrons who have been staying the night, having their own breakfast. Most of them have nearly finished. You do spot at one table in the corner a guard wearing full uniform. He has been served something, probably a coffee and a light breakfast. As you come down the stairs, he looks up, acknowledges you, finishes what he's eating, stands up with his helmet under arm and approaches the group. He is a human man, and as he approached the group, he said, "Good morning. I was sent by Zinnon to accompany you to the guard's house to answer some questions about last night. Obviously, you are free. He has instructed that you're free to take your time. Please have anything, if you need breakfast before we head out, that is not a problem. But when you're ready, please let me know, and I will take you to the guardhouse."
I definitely think we need food.
I agree.
Like, I can.
Should we get food here, or
Let's have breakfast.
is there a nice breakfast place?
I mean, you're in a tavern, they would serve breakfast for you.
There's no brunch.
Yeah, there's nowhere nearby that specializes in brunches.
That's a shame.
You'd be aware this sort of setting, like taverns and inns, are going to be the places most people would go to that isn't home for like a hot breakfast.
I feel like where I'm from, they would have a brunch.
You know what? I was probably in an elven city, especially an elven capital, they probably have places that just specify in various meals throughout the day. So I will say, from your upbringing, you're probably used to it, but you would be aware that most cities are just going to be like the inn is where you have breakfast.
I can't believe they don't have any place to have like brunch. Like, you guys should come and visit. Well, when we're done with all of this, and we should go and visit where I'm from, and then we can all go and get brunch.
There's a wonderful place around home called Eggs.
Yes, and there's also a really good place. Wait, who said that?
It was the man with the glowy eyes.
Anyway,
again. Finger crossbows.
And there's also this thing, and it's like a meal after dinner, and it just like specializes in all like sweet things, and it's really great. And they have these like pastries, and they have honey on them, and they are to die for, and like little nuts, and there's really cold cream that goes on top, and it's just really great. And yeah, but I don't think they have things like that here.
This conversation has gone on while you have taken a table, at which point the current sort of tavern keeper has come over, and they explain to you that the breakfast is hot or cold.
And is it meant to be hot and cold, or is it one option?
I mean, do you want a hot breakfast or a cold breakfast?
Oh, okay. I thought you were asking if the one dish you have comes hot, or you can have it.
You can get a
cold.
hot breakfast, which is going to be like leftover meats from the night before, sort of warmed up with bread, or you can have a cold breakfast, which is going to be like. Do you know what? I'm going to go out on a limb here. They have cereals. Your breakfast could be a cereal or some warm, reheated meats from the night before that have been kept to serve as breakfast.
Like a continental.
Yeah, continental. That's what we're having here in Cairn.
Yeah.
I'll go with the continental breakfast.
You are served a continental breakfast.
I'll join.
No croissants, though. They have their own local folded pastry that isn't called a croissant.
Ooh. Planet's gonna eat a fuck ton.
Yeah, I'm assuming.
Is it nice?
No.
Oh.
It is
Ugh.
not. You're pretty sure after the commotion last night and the fact that the tavern keeper was awoken in the middle of the night because of your injuries, that he hasn't been able. You can see he is tired. Like, he is not with it this morning. The food is edible, but that's about it. So with that said, I'm assuming, do you guys just eat your breakfast and then do you go with the guard, or is there anything else you want to do beforehand?
I'm happy to go with the guard.
I don't have anything.
Cool.
Let's go with the guard.
Cool. You finish your breakfast, and the guard takes you a very eerily similar route to the one you took before, but a bit more direct. And you eventually end up at a guardhouse, which is just sort of inside and to the west of the southern gate that you entered through. Inside, the guardhouse is quite busy at the minute. There are guards coming to and fro, and sat at a desk further in, you spot Zinnon. And as you enter, he sees you, stands up and approaches your group. And he nods to the guard who brought you in, who heads off further into the guardhouse. And Zinnon sort of does a very slight sort of head nod / sort of bow towards all of you. He says, good morning. I hope you were able to recover from last night. And he looks directly at Giliana and Kazisel, and then spends a second taking in Twilight and Sinclair, who obviously he has never met before. These must be your comrades as well?
Yes.
Yes.
He goes to shake both of your hands. Like, good morning. I wish we could have met under more pleasant circumstances, but I am Zinnon. I am one of the guard captains here in Cairn.
Nice to meet you. My name is Sinclair.
And I'm Twilight.
It is a pleasure. I only wish we could have met under kinder circumstances. Which of you two were injured last night in the attack, may I ask?
It was myself.
I trust that the priestesses from the Temple of Zinnon were able to take care of you. At which point he does clock Twilight that you are wearing a necklace. I think it's a necklace you wear, isn't it? That is,
It's like an amulet. Yeah.
You can see he twigs that. He doesn't mention it, but you can see he registers. Soluna, you know them.
Yeah.
And he says, I trust that the temple priestesses of Soluna treated you well and you've been fully healed. That was at you, Sinclair.
Oh, sorry. Yes. No. The service was excellent. Thank you for sending them over. I'm feeling much better.
Of course, it is my duty to make sure that the people in Cairn are taken care of, and I can only apologise for my oversight in allowing this attack to happen. But as you can imagine, things like this are relatively uncommon and hard to plan for. That said, I do unfortunately have some bad news. Early in the morning, before you awoke and arrived, we received a messenger from Lord Fennec. We were instructed to deliver the captive to his estate, as he believes they were tied to an investigation he was carrying out within the city. Now, if you'd be so kind as to share some information with myself, I can share what we learned from him, but I would understand if you're unwilling to speak to us, you can speak to Lord Fennec directly if he would deign to have an audience with you. I cannot guarantee that.
Yeah, we would very much so like to talk to this Lord Fennec, please.
Okay. I can send a messenger, or you can approach his estate directly, whichever you'd prefer. But again, like I say, I cannot guarantee he would deign to meet with you. All I know is that this has been determined to be part of his own investigation he has been carrying out. We were allowed time to carry out our own questioning, but if this is someone you, or if this is part of something you've been familiar with before, you'd probably be unsurprised. At this point, you can see he's sort of like, he's doing that police thing where he's fishing for information, seeing how you react. Just very, like, Giliana, you would get this very plainly by him saying things like, as you would imagine, or as I can assume you would know, he's looking to see how you react. We weren't able to get much information from him. I can tell you what we learned if you'd be willing to speak with me, but otherwise, any further information you would have to approach Lord Fennec for.
So, like, I get the impression that he's...
Roll me an insight check.
like... 19.
He is pissed.
Okay.
He sees this as someone intruding on his authority, but he's not going to show it because... So the nobles and the lords don't have, like, direct control over the guards, but a request from a noble carries a lot of weight. You would specifically know this from your background. So if a noble comes to you and says, actually, I'm carrying out a specific investigation into this, I have hired people investigating this, when you're finished with your questioning, can you please hand him over? Denying that request would carry fairly significant repercussions, especially after the information you've already gathered, where you know that Lord Fennec is putting a lot of money into the city. He doesn't control the guard, he doesn't control any soldiers, but he is funding a lot of the city. So denying his request would have some fairly quick and swift pretty swift and severe repercussions. So he has acquiesced to his request after getting what information he could, but that's, from what he's not happy about it.
Well, it's actually funny that it is Lord Fennec that has requested this, because I think, was Lord Fennec not one of the people that we came to the city to inquire about in the first place? Good friends of mine.
There was potential
That
business.
is a name I recognise.
Yes, potential business with Lord Fennec.
You guys know that the city has currently 4 major noble houses present, which are represented by Fennec, Harlow, White, and Asper. And they don't control the city, but they do have significant, like any city where the nobles are present, they don't control things, but they have significant impact on what happens through supplying men to the the city watch, the city guard, providing funding, trade, things like that, or owning land. So the internals of the city are they're the grease in the wings that keeps things running. And if you piss one of the nobles off, the grease dries up and things stop working as well. So it's not a case of they say jump and you say how high. It's they say jump and you say okay, but give me some incentive. In this case, the incentive is Fennec said, have your questions, do what you want with him, but I need him ASAP I need them ASAP because they're part of an investigation I'm doing. And if you don't, well, wink, nudge, nudge, things might not go so well for you. Hey guys, just jumping in quickly to let you know we actually have a paid sponsorship this week. We have been sponsored by the talented guys over at Bandit Camp, who released the Wicked Ones game system. So Wicked Ones is a forged-in-the-dark tabletop RPG, where you get to take on the role of a fantasy monster. Now this isn't just introducing monstrous races, this is a completely new take on a sort of monstrous game, where you have to build up your own dungeon, raid the surface world to gather your own horde, construct your traps, recruit minions, and dig further into the deeps to make discoveries. But most importantly, your job is to slay the would-be heroes who come to rid the world of your evil. On top of the base game, they also have the Undead Awakening, a full game expansion for Wicked Ones, where you get to leave the dungeon behind and embrace undeath. Become a powerful necrotic creature and lead your horde in a conquest as you terrorize regions, spreading corruption and, most importantly, death. There's one key, very important piece of information for this promotion though. Wicked Ones is already available. You can go on to DriveThruRPG and pick it up already. But the reason for this promotion is because they are running a Kickstarter to provide printed, high-quality materials as opposed to just a PDF download. They smashed their goals in the first hour and have been announcing stretch goals as they go. Now, Wicked Ones and Undead Awakening has resonated deeply with the dark hearts of those looking to lean into their evil side. Through the Kickstarter, you can also get your hands on 66 engraved resin dice with colour-coded runic symbols. You can pick up a cartography kit with 7 region sandbox maps already printed on thick linen texture paper, as well as further possible stretch goals coming. We will have links to all of this in the description, but you can search for Wicked Ones on Kickstarter or by heading to banditcamp.io to get more information. Seriously guys, go check this out. It looks super cool. I've already read through the Wicked Ones PDF and it is super interesting as a gaming system. It's been heavily inspired by games like Dungeons, which, if you haven't played, is very good fun. And I just think it's a great opportunity to lean into playing an evil monster and getting to do things you don't normally get to do in your standard TTRPG campaigns. So go check it out, pick it up, and get in touch with your darker side. But yes, you're aware that he is one of the 4 people that you want to speak to in the town city.
Well, it seems like Lord Fennec has made our decision for us, and we'll have to go and talk to him first. Would you be able to send him a message that we would like an audience with him as soon as possible, please?
I can, of course. Would you mind, while you're waiting for a response, attending myself here, and we can have a private conversation about what we learned, and you can perhaps share some information with myself?
Yeah, I mean,
We'll see.
More people that know.
You're under. I want to make You're under no obligation. You obviously were victims of a crime within my city last night. We have already gone over the basics. I would just like to understand a little bit more what may have led to this altercation,
I
if
mean,
possible.
you're guard captain. You're standing of authority, so I can't see any wrong in doing that.
I would very much appreciate that. He signals to one of the guards nearby. They have a hushed conversation, which you can sort of ascertain. Summarized is, I'm having a conversation with these people. Make sure somebody else does my job for 5 minutes. And he leads you down a hallway to a sort of closed off room where he takes you all inside and closes the door, so you're all in secret and you can talk plainly if you so desire. He sits at a table and gestures for you all to take a seat around him. It's not like, him on one side, you all on another. It's a standard sort of meeting table. You can all sit around the table if you like. But he sits down, steeples his fingers in front of him and says, okay. From my understanding, you arrived in the city yesterday, correct?
Indeed.
Correct.
Yes.
Would you mind telling me where you were travelling from? I would like to reiterate you're not under...
Checks notes.
You were travelling from Knight's Valor.
Knight's Valor Keep.
Do
Yeah,
you say that?
We came from Knight's Valor Keep.
He nods. Was there anything, and I want to be very plain about this, unusual that happened while you were staying in Knight's Valor?
Was that?
Ever. Jesus.
He leans forward. Would you care to explain? As I want to preface this by saying, as you can imagine, assassination attempts in Cairn are very unusual. Those that do occur tend to be members of the military, and they tend to be carried out by, and I want to be very blunt and plain with this, those to the north of our walls. Orcish attackers, goblin raiders, those who live in the arid deserts to the north. It is exceptionally unusual that a visitor who has been in our city less than a day would be attacked in his bed in an inn. I only wish to find out why this has occurred to ensure that it cannot happen again. You are under no obligation to tell me anything. This is not an interrogation. You are not under arrest. You are victims of a crime that I wish to prevent happening again. With all of that said, would you mind telling me what happened in Knight's Valor that was so unusual? And he just looks down the table from face to face.
I'm looking to the other members of the group, just kind of like, where do we begin?
Yeah, what we feeling, gang? How are we gonna start?
Where do we begin?
My personal standpoint on this, Captain, is I don't know who we can trust right now, and that is not me questioning your honor. I'm very wary of who we are handing out information to. Again, it's nothing against you. I'm just, with the attack that happened on myself and my companions, I'm not eager to give everything away, as you could probably imagine.
He nods slowly and he says, is there anything I can do that would endear me to your trust?
The town, the Knight's Valor Keep, what I can definitely say is they need some help. They definitely need some help over there. They could do with some extra hands over there.
He nods slowly and he says, unfortunately, I am only one of a number of captains of the City Guard of Cairn. We do not provide protection outside of our walls. However, I can speak to any of the nobles in an attempt to garner some additional support that could be sent to protect Knight's Valor if that is something you're worried about. However, from your reaction and the suggestion that you speak to Lord Fennec, I assume that there is some sort of suspicion laid against the nobles here in Cairn, is that correct?
No. Not. I don't think that. I think that you've given us no reason not to trust you.
He nods.
But like my friends have said, we have not had a good experience since we've started this. Would you say it's an adventure together, my friends? We've encountered a lot of hardship over our very brief travels together, so we are slightly wary. But what would help us is, as like a show of good faith, if you would be able to get us a meeting, maybe not with Lord Fennec. If we could solidify the fact that we would have a meeting with him, then we are happy to give you information in return to help you protect your city and potentially help all of us protect a lot more people, because I think we're all really on the same page.
He nods and he says, unfortunately, I have little political sway in the city. As I've already stated, I have sent a messenger and I have requested a meeting be arranged for yourselves with Lord Fennec. But I cannot guarantee that. All I want to know is, would you be against me requesting aid from the nobles of the city being sent to Knight's Valor? I can do, if, as your comrade says, Knight's Valor is in possible danger, I prefer to send assistance as soon as possible. I unfortunately have no say in that matter, but the nobles would. Would you prefer we wait until your meeting with Lord Fennec, or, with your permission, and he says permission with like a weight to it, like he is saying, like, you know, you guys were the subject of an attempted assassination. He can, like, he's not stupid. Something is going on. He says, with your permission, may I send a messenger to each of the nobles to ask for assistance to be sent to Knight's Valor as soon as possible? Or would you prefer I waited until you've spoken to Lord Fennec?
I think we need to keep this close to our chest right now. To answer it, personally, to answer one of your questions earlier, is there potential that the nobles are involved in something? Who knows? Who knows, my friend? That's why we can't just hand out everything immediately. That we don't know how deep.
I completely understand. And if it is any ease to your minds, I do have a friend. He is a merchant. He is due to travel south, passing through Knight's Valor. I can ask him to send a message back if there are any issues. It will take several days, as you must know, you travelled from that way yourselves. But it is the least I can do until we ascertain whether or not help can be sent from the city itself. I'm not going to pretend that I trust every word that you say, but I would be stupid were I not to take this seriously. You were the subject of an assassination attempt, something which is extremely rare within our walls, and I have no reason to distrust you. You went out of your way to protect one another and take down an assassin who was then taken from my care. If you were to tell me that there are those within these walls who may have been involved, then I will take every precaution to ensure that information is not leaked beyond our conversation.
Insight check.
Absolutely, go for it.
Yeah. Natural 20.
Yeah, I got like a 2, so...
Ilyana, you're pretty sure this guy's a dwarf. No, not really. You can't get a read on him. Because, Sinclair, there's a saying where you come from, and it's, the truth rings like a bell. And you're pretty sure you've become very good at telling when someone is telling the complete truth, because the words almost resonate like the striking of a bell. This man's words fall in your ears like a resounding bell. He is, just from reading, natural 20. You're not just reading what this man says, you're reading this man's being. You're getting a very good read. This man he is not hiding anything from you. He is not being untruthful. He is obviously being very careful with his words, but he is being truthful. He believes you. He can obviously not tell how much of what you say is 100% true, but he believes that you believe what you're saying. He believes there is a cause for alarm, and he is being honest in what he says. He will do what he can to assist, and he has no ulterior motives here. He wants to keep the people of Cairn safe, and while you're within the walls, you are included in the people of Cairn, as far as he's concerned.
Yes, Captain, I do believe that there are people of this city involved in something much bigger, and I think it would be a great asset that potential murmurings of this conversation do not leak.
Of course. Several of my men know you were attacked. They, however, beyond our conversation, they do not know where you came from. They do not know the possibilities. Only a handful know that Lord Fennec took this person. They are aware that, and those who are aware know that he took them because it was part of an investigation that he was carrying out. This, in and of itself, is not completely unusual. The nobles have their own military, their own guards who will carry out investigations. On occasion, Lord Fennec specifically, due to his merchant business in and out of the city, has been known to carry out investigations into trade and smuggling crimes. I will say, in my tenure here in the City Guard, this is the first time he has been involved with an assassination attempt, but I do not claim to be privy to the internal conversations of the nobility or their whims. All I know is that should I have denied him his request, it would have made my life and the life of my subordinates very difficult. I hope you can forgive me for that, for if you are correct, and people in the city, including the nobility, may have been involved, it may have not been the correct choice to make. I was very limited in the time I had to make it. I said, if you have any queries or need any assistance, please do contact me and I will do what I can to help. If you wish, you can wait here for the messenger to return to see if your meeting has been made with Lord Fennec, or you can return to the Emperor Hearth Inn gate and I will send a messenger there. But as far as I'm concerned, you have answered my questions. I have been supplied more information than you rightfully needed to give. And actually, in return, there was one piece of information that you may have found interesting. The assassin carried very little. They had the dagger that I assumed was used to attack yourself, and he looks at you, Sinclair. They carried a short sword at their hip. Other than that, they had no belongings in their pockets, but on their chest, embedded just above the heart, was a purple gem.
Fuck.
Oh dear.
This seemed to be formed into the skin itself. I would not have dared try to remove it without a healer present, which unfortunately we did not have time to do. I don't know what you experienced in Knight's Valor, but I feel this is highly unusual and perhaps may align with something you have experienced already. I hope that sharing this information will prove beyond a doubt that I am willing to assist you in this investigation and only wish to keep those within the walls of Cairn safe. And he looks each of you directly in the eye as he says that.
Sinclair will put out his hand towards the captain and, for a handshake and said, "You've given us a lot of information as well."
He shakes your hand.
We will potentially be in contact.
I appreciate it. I assume you wish to head back to the inn then, to relax?
Sinclair will sort of look at the gang, see what they're thinking.
Scooby gang. Zoinks!
I don't think there'll be much relaxing after this news.
We could wait here, if that would be all right with you.
It would save me sending a man out with a message, and I would appreciate that.
We will cut down on the man hours and do that then.
If you wish to wait in this room, I will head back to my duties, and when the messenger returns, I will let you know. Would you like me to send messengers to attempt to set up meetings with the other nobles, or would you prefer to attend those on your own?
There are a couple I think we could get our way with, our own way in, but there might be one, but if we can't, we'll come back for your assistance.
He nods to that. Well, I will leave you then until the messenger returns, and I will return to my duties. He nods and leaves the room. The room is, he doesn't lock it or anything, the door, he just closes the door and you're left to yourselves. In the interim, it is going to take a bit of time before the messenger returns. Do you guys wish to discuss anything, or would you be very wary of your situation and just sit in silence the whole time?
Yeah, I have some things to discuss.
There's a lot to discuss.
Christ. Oh my gosh. So, I don't know. I feel like this is getting worse. I'm not surprised, but I feel like we need to give some warning, because I feel like they're going to start infiltrating even more places, and I feel like it's always the guards that are
They're the
ones that
first
are
ones.
targeted. Yeah. So maybe we should give some warning
Yeah.
to Zinnon.
Be like, stay away from purple gems, lol.
Yeah, no rings. If someone gives you a ring, say, maybe not. I'm not a ring person.
It was in her chest?
Yeah, well, Christ. But she seemed like a bit of a sadist anyway.
She was into it.
Maybe she like asked for it. Maybe they're not forcing it onto people. Maybe she asked for the permanent gem. I don't know. But I am worried that if we make it very well known who our allies are, then they will be targeted.
Yeah, that's true.
Thing is, if we're being watched, they'll already know we've been here.
I know, but if we give them warning, maybe it'll give them a chance to, maybe, if anything, if the worst were to happen, they will be able to get us a message at least to help them, or let us know that
The fact that
something bad's happened, or
the fact that they've given us some kind of information, and judging by his reaction to having to let the attacker go to the noble.
yeah.
I'm leaning to this side of we can trust them enough with some information, at least the captain.
On the point of our dear captain, yes. We've got a saying back home, which is truth rings like a bell, and every vibe I was getting from him, he believed us, although the small bits of information we gave him, but he knows something's going on, and I really think we can trust this man.
And at the end as well, we might need help. We're going to need as much help as we can get dealing with this. If at least the captain knows what's going on, we can lean into the help from there as well.
I agree. Do we think we should give them some warning about these brainwashing rings? My worry is that we are putting him in more danger the more information we give him.
Yes, that is a worry.
Why are we targets? Is that ignorance also a death sentence?
I think, yes, in this scenario, not making allies can get them killed, and vice versa.
And if, as you say, Sinclair, if the nobles are in on it, or any of the nobles are in on it, if the guards, or if the captain knows what's going on, they might know what to look out for among the nobles.
Yeah, that's true.
I think we should tell him, but I don't think we should. I don't think we should tell him now. I think that would make it too obvious. I think we need to come back here at some point. Be it, we'll make up an excuse to come back, some other petty crime, pickpocketing or something, and we'll.
Oh, does she have my money? She had no money. That was a pain.
I did specifically describe that the guard captain said she had nothing on her but the dagger and the short sword.
Jordan did that on purpose.
She didn't steal your money!
No, someone stole my money and I wanted to make some of it back.
Yeah, it wasn't her.
We don't seem to be getting paid for any of this charity work we're doing.
Well, maybe you should look for a job that pays then.
If we had one moment of peace, maybe we would be able to.
I mean, getting stabbed in the middle of the night doesn't give much room for that.
No, it doesn't. Anyway, yes, I agree. I'm concerned about this Lord Fennec. I feel maybe we should start thinking on like a positives. Maybe let's start thinking positively. Maybe he's already investigating this issue and he is actually doing his own private investigation onto who has done the stuff at Knight's Valor's Keep, and he already heard about it, and he's like, oh my gosh, maybe this assassination has happened because of all the spooky stuff that's going on. Maybe he's a good guy.
It does feel like he's on our side for this.
Lord Fennec, or the
guard.
The guard. No, yeah, the guard, I agree, is definitely on our side. But Lord Fennec...
I would say with our luck, sure. I wouldn't put any stakes in Lord Fennec's actions being noble.
I mean, maybe if we start manifesting, good things will happen to us.
Yes, well, we won't know until we talk to him. But
if he lets us talk to him, which I find it really odd that he's doing his own investigation but doesn't actually want to talk to the people who nearly got assassinated. So if he declines to meet with us, I feel like that kind of answers the question as to whose side he's on. Because you got stabbed and he doesn't want to talk to us, but he's talking to the stabby, but not the stabber, but not the stabby. Sounds sus to me.
At this point in the conversation, there is a gentle knock to the door.
Oh.
And Captain Zinnon pokes his head back round and says, sorry to disturb again, but the messenger has returned. Lord Fennec is willing to meet with you now, if you'd be willing to follow the messenger back to his estate. And that is where we're going to end the session.
No!
I fucking knew it. Yeah.
Oh no, we're going to get murdered.
Well, that's it for another episode. Thanks for sticking with us. As usual, I'd like to thank Lixie B and Jeff for the wonderful logo and character art they created for us, the Stormweather Shanty Choir for letting us use their song Drunken Sailor as our theme tune, DN Dice for sponsoring us, and all of our wonderful Patreon supporters who have been helping us out. Our recommended podcast this week is the lovely, talented guys over at the Flimsy Rituals podcast. If you were following any of the stuff on our Patreon or listening to any of the Explore the Guest Lore episodes you did, you would have heard me chatting to Adam from these Flimsy Rituals about Rhine, the recently successfully crowdfunded game they've adapted based on some of the bits from their podcast. But I would have recommended the actual podcast itself now as well. They start off, I believe, playing a version of the Apocalypse World TTRPG, but they take inspiration from others as well. And I'm not fully up to date on these guys yet. They have quite a large backlog, which again, another bonus, a lot of stuff to listen to. I believe they dip into other gaming systems as well. These guys are lovely, very talented, great listen. Highly recommend going and checking them out. That is the Flimsy Rituals podcast. While you're here, just a quick reminder again, after the mid-roll we had, to go and check out the Wicked Ones game system. We were really hoping to do a quick one-shot in that to put up on our feed. Haven't had a chance. The last couple of months tying everyone together have been an absolute nightmare just to get our regular recordings done. But we will absolutely be doing a recording of the Wicked Ones just for a quick one-shot for you guys to listen to. Like I say, this Kickstarter is just for a printed version of the game. The game is already available on DriveThruRPG, so please go and check them out. That is the Wicked Ones game. And that's it for this week. Thanks very much for sticking with us, and we'll see you guys soon.